paper chase. She say this her cut like a taper fade. I'm the bomb grenade,
Purchase your
never
tracks
perpetrate.
today.
Libra scale the weight, I ignore the hate. Big money.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? You know who it is. After Hours Live from the Man Cave. One half today. Your host, Tay Wiggs. Man, first and foremost, NBA playoffs is heating up, man. Loving what I'm seeing right now. I know I missed a couple of games with you guys. I'm going to get you guys caught back up to speed. If not, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. Where I want to start is now, you got the Portland Trail Blazers, who went up in that Game 5 without a Damian Lillard. CJ McCollum had to carry most of the load during the night. And I thought the Portland Trail Blazers played pretty well without Damian Lillard. Other guys did step up pretty big and got what they needed. You know, Gary Trent Jr. had 16 points. Anthony Simons had 13. But, you know, CJ did shoulder low if he still played with the fractured back. He had 36 points to go along with 6 rebounds and 7 assists. But where is that when the Carmelo Anthony had a hot start? Foul trouble early, setting the tone for the Portland Trail Blazers. They was getting too much foul trouble. I thought the Lakers took care of business very effectively and took care of it quickly. Hassan Whiteside with the jam pinky with the 2 points and 7 rebounds. I would love to see him more into the star lineup. I think the Portland organization, when it came down to Hassan Whiteside and Nurkic, we think Portland found their guy in Nurkic, but Nurkic was in this series. I didn't see the best of Nurkic. You had a guy who led the NBA in blocks, Hassan Whiteside. I thought he should have been the main focus since day one. You should have had Nurkic come off the bench, then ease him into the lineup, but putting them both out there in the lineup, it just took away the touches for Hassan Whiteside to get his points as well. So you try to do the whole big man experience. It didn't work out for you guys because Nurkic is not that fast. Now Whiteside is fast to get on both sides of the court, offense and defense. But you trying to put Nurkic and Whiteside to try to keep up with LeBron James, AD, and JaVale McGee. That didn't work out. I thought Carmelo Anthony played really well, 27 points. But the whole thing, Melo get hot real fast. I think Carmelo Anthony has found a home in the Portland Trail Blazers organization. So the whole thing is now, what the Portland Trail Blazers are going to do in free agency. They may lose Hassan Whiteside to another team, but realistically, there's a possibility that LaMarcus Aldridge can head back to Portland. If they can get him back, you know, LaMarcus Aldridge hasn't been the same to me the past couple of years. I thought he should have stayed in Portland in the first place. Like I said, going back to the playoffs, you got Nurkic with 16 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, and 5 steals. The whole thing is about this game here. Missing Damian Lillard was huge because you know Dame can go for 30, 40, or 50 in any given moment. But to lose a guy who's averaging 30 points per game to an injury, a speedy recovery to him, and congratulations. Him and his wife and expecting another child. It's always good news when you're leaving the bubble. But you look at a player like LeBron James playing in his 17th season or 18th season where they're giving you 36 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists. That's huge. But the whole thing is about LeBron James. Been watching him and covering him ever since he's been in the league. LeBron James give you moments where he argues with the ref about a certain foul, or if he feel like he got fouled, he don't get back on the floor, get back up and run down the floor on defense. You know, those are not championship winning ways. That looks real bad coming from your superstar because you want to lead by example. You got to get off that floor. All right, I didn't get this call the next time I go around. But on the other hand, get up on the floor and run down the court. Then if you commit a foul or something where your teammates commit a foul, take that up in a timeout situation where you can actually talk to them. Don't talk to them in the middle of a play and you know the referee not going to call it now because the team who got the ball or the rebound, they got the advantage of 4-on-5 break, and you're not getting back on defense. So LeBron, just keep in mind, man. I'm not gonna tell you how to play, but from what I see as a fan, you know the sports guys might be being critiqued by us guys, but half of us guys has played this game before. You know, those are not championship winning ways. We got to get back on the floor and head down the court on defense. Anthony Davis is 43 points and 9 rebounds. One thing about Anthony Davis, if he play like this all the time, the Lakers are very unbeatable. You're not gonna beat them. You're not. But the thing is, to give me 9 rebounds, you got to give me double. I need like, if you're gonna have 43 points, you got like 12, 13 rebounds. Like you telling everybody, look, Anthony Davis is more of a finesse player. He's not a power forward. He's not one of those power guys. He's more finesse. You know, he's gonna take the threes and the jumps, the 15 footers and stuff like that. I think most of his work when he does the most damage is inside the paint because he get a lot done. And I thought KCP started off hot too as well, again with 14 points. Dwight Howard came off the bench huge, 11 points, 7 rebounds. So you got Dwight Howard out there get you 11 points and 6 rebounds. That changed the whole dynamics for the opposing team, not only because now you got to stop a JaVale McGee from getting rebounds, a LeBron, an AD, now Dwight Howard. So you got these guys crashing the boards and stuff like that. The whole thing I was saying before, when them guys like Skip Bayless and Charles Barkley said the Lakers is going to get swept by the Portland Trailblazers. So, you know, Dame Lillard, CJ McCollum arguably got the best backcourt right now in the NBA playoffs, which the case is true to me, if you ask me. But secondly, the thing I didn't hear from these guys on TV, the commentators, from the Charles Barkleys or the Jason Williams, the Stephen A. Smiths, the Skip Bayless, I didn't hear them guys one time say the Lakers' key to winning this game for the Portland Trailblazers, no second chance shots, and clean up the defensive end and rebounds. Guys are taller than grabbing more boards. And going into that series, I knew for a fact that certain guys weren't going to play hard every night. Look at Nurkic. He gives up easily as well. Don't get back on the floor quick enough. I thought they should put more in time with Hassan Whiteside to be more effective because he's the better, to me, he was the more effective player in this series when it came down to the big man. Yeah, the stats may say something different, but when I look at the hustle and tenacity, I thought Hassan Whiteside did it. When they break him out, you can see some of the frustration on his face. Like, all right, y'all take me out again. Like, how can a guy get into a groove? You're only playing him 4 minutes here, 5 minutes here. You can't get into a groove like that because you're not getting your touches as well. So that's how the Lakers won that series. They waiting for the winner of the next game. So you get the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm just getting everybody caught up to speed and I get back into the games. But you got the Milwaukee Bucks crushing Orlando Magic. Orlando Magic had that good game one, and they fell off their game plan. Milwaukee Bucks figured it out, took it off. Chris Middleton would hit up with 21 points, 10 rebounds. Now, one thing about Chris Middleton's game is he go absent a lot. He needs to be consistent like this all the time. He's consistent like this all the time. They have a legit shot of winning games. So when you're looking at him getting you 21 points and 10 rebounds, and you got Giannis getting you 28 points and 17 rebounds, team is hard to beat. But the main focus should be on the Milwaukee Bucks and this guy right here, Wesley Matthews. Game been like this. Up and down. 10 points here, 7 points here, or 4 points here. He has to be consistent, or 3 points. In this game, either they won, he had 3 points. You cannot be in the starting rotation to begin 3 points in the playoffs. They brought you in to knock down shots. For some reason, it's been strange for a lot of shooters this year in the NBA playoffs. A lot of shooters have not been connecting with all the shots. I must say, like a Wesley Matthews, another shooter, a Paul Millsap, a Danny Green. Like, these guys are known to be shooters when they're open and they can knock the shots down. And so far, they have not been knocking down a lot of shots. And you're not going to win games like that sometimes when your scorers cannot hit shots and open jumpers. I thought Brook Lopez played a stellar game with 16 points, 7 rebounds in that closeout game. Eric Bledsoe, 10 points and 3 rebounds. Marvin Williams had nice points off the bench to go along with George Hill. Marvin with 12 points, 7 rebounds, and George Hill with 11 points. So you're looking at guys on Orlando Magic. They had to slow down a former MVP who may be well in his second MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo. You're looking at a player like James Ennis, who's only giving you 9 points and playing 30-some minutes. You can't, like Gary Clark, he's playing 32 minutes, only giving you 1 point, 6 rebounds. going up against a team like a Giannis Antetokounmpo, you know he want to run it down the court. He's going to post you up a little bit. He's going to dunk on you. And it's so hard to stop a guy that's that long. You got to realize that guy is what, 6'10"? He's about 6'10". You got to realize the average power forward or small forward, well, I'm going to say average small forward because he's playing the 3 spot. So the average small forward might be about 6'6" to 6'8". And he's just jumping over him like a pogo stick. There's something you do. And I thought what the Orlando Magic had in that first game, they should went back and look at some film, like, what's what we did different? How can we come with that same mentality? And the tough thing is they play a game every other day. So just imagine what you gotta go through. I thought they should at least won 2 games, but hey, to get 1 game, that's a lot being said. But let's be honest, they were missing one of their key guys in Aaron Gordon, who I thought could have changed some of the complex of the game for them to give them another option, another scorer, another defender, which they lost, another able body to do other things. Then you lose another guy too, as the young kid who tore his ACL, Jonathan Isaac. So you missing him too as well. So you missing a couple of pieces that you probably could have got squeezed out of game 5, a game 6 or something like that. Who knows? You never know. You don't know how the basketball guys work. But Markelle Fultz, I thought who's stepping up more and more, being that player that he is. I thought Philadelphia just gave up on him too early. And look where he's been doing. So the last 2 seasons, he's been in the playoffs. So that's a good look for him for his 14 points to go along with his 5 assists. Actually, Terrence Ross, his name, who jumps out there too. 13.6 rebounds. I want to see more for Terrence Ross. He's a gifted, talented player. We know he can score. We know he can leap out the gym. I thought Steve Clifford should put the ball more and more in his hands too, let him create. Because I thought when he's out there and creating stuff like a DJ Augustine, who gave you 15 points, those guys are kind of deadly for them. That don't Magic. Evan Fournier, 15 points and 4 rebounds. When you look at these stats, you're like, okay, they had a good chance. But Vukovic, 22 points or 15 rebounds and 5 assists. That actually, with him, he's a good piece in Orlando. Now, the only thing about Orlando is a small market city for a basketball team. When you look at a team that's a team of that magnitude who gets some great pieces down there, it could be a potentially that they may lose a Vukovic who probably want to go somewhere else and win with another team. Who may know? Maybe he can land in Dallas. We don't know. Because after a while, you want to get out the first round and you want to advance further and further into the playoffs. If Orlando could put some more pieces around him and believe that they got their cornerstone guy, they should go forward. But the Orlando Magic did get eliminated by the Milwaukee Bucks. So look at those type of teams. It's always good. Now, you got the Boston Celtics going to the Toronto Raptors at their first round of the Eastern Conference semifinals. And I sat there the other day and said, you know what? Give more chances. I'm taking the Raptors just because they are the defending champions. You respect the defending champions. But they have no Kawhi Leonard, and the Boston Celtics just ran them off the gym. And I should have known better as I analyzed these games. I should have known that the Celtics are younger, they're more athletic, and they get down the court. I should have known that Daniel Tice, who would have known that Daniel Tice was going to outplay Marc Gasol? Marc Gasol had 7 points, 6 assists. You look at Daniel Tice, 13 points, 15 rebounds. Age. The only thing about Daniel Tice, he's get after. He's a hustle energy guy playing at that center spot, first and foremost. He's going to give you high energy, high motor guy. He's gonna aggravate you because he's gonna be everywhere. But when he's getting 15 rebounds over Marc Gasol or Serge Ibaka, you're in trouble because not only he getting rebounds, he's running down the court too as well, getting on the other end and getting offensive rebounds. So when you look at that type of team that Brad Stevens got, that team is a gritty team. That team plays like one of them old Celtics teams right now. Get a Jason Tatum, 21 points, 9 rebounds. Then you got Jaylen Brown with 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. When you got those two guys back there, as the same probably some of the best two-way defenders in the league. And Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown is putting his team on their back and get them to the next level. And they had a new acquisition of a Kemba Walker who's playing his now. We ain't gonna say his first playoff game, but this is his first year in the playoffs. And I thought Kemba Walker is playing extremely well too. And he had a career high too with 10 assists for the playoffs. And he had 18 points to go along with 3 rebounds. So one thing about Kemba Walker is a scorer, but he's an underrated passer too as well. So one thing I always like about Kemba Walker game is that he is not a ball hog. He don't have to score. He's going to find other ways to get his teammates involved. When you get your teammates involved, sky's the limit. Like a Marcus Smart, you got him getting 21 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. That team is you're not going to beat them. You're not going to beat them. You got guys like a Brad Wanamaker come on the bench, give you 7 points, 6 rebounds. Glue guys is playing their roles. And one thing I'm gonna say about this young Boston Celtics team with that Tatum and Brown back front court, man, that's a special backcourt, and they are tough to beat. When you look at what they doing on the defensive end to Pascal Siakam, I don't know if it's me, folks. When you sit down and watch the game, when Pascal get the ball, he's not a superstar yet. He's right. Let me say all-star. That's where he is. You got to take that next jump to be a superstar. He's an all-star right now. He has one move. It's the spin move. He get the ball. He get in the paint. He hesitate. The only way he trying to get himself out the area of a defender, he hit the spin move, turn the ball over a lot, or an indirect pass. A lot of things happen bad in that type of situation. A travel. I mean, you gotta find another move to go to besides when you get in trouble, you go into the spin move. You don't want to keep using that as the word I'm searching for. So I'm sacrificing that move to get out of trouble. That's what I'm looking at. He using that move to get himself out of trouble. And you gotta find other ways to score from a different scenario. So when you start adding different things in your game and your repertoire, it blossoms your game up and to do other things on the floor. Watch what I tell you, folks, when you watch him again. Pascal do other spin moves. The game I counted, I think he did about 25 to 26 spin moves in one game. Trust me, just watch. Just watch. That's his bailout move. For guys on the Toronto Raptors, OG Anunoby, 12 points and rebounds. He has to be more physical. We know he came off a knee injury. You could tell he favors that knee a little bit. I need to see OG more drive into the hole more, posting people up, getting more buckets. Trust me. But the whole thing is, you got Pascal with 13 points. He's averaging about 20 points in these playoffs. But to keep him down under the 20 ball range, to give him 13, your chances of that, if you want to win, it's not good because this Boston Celtics team is young, hungry, and scrappy. The whole thing, if the Raptors do want to win, you got to get Marc Gasol going early. Give him some early touches. I feel like if you get him going early, this team, the sky's the limit. But to get 7.6 rebounds is not acceptable. Not in starting lineup on Marc Gasol, because we know how valuable he was in the playoffs when he was playing for the Memphis Grizzlies team in the grindhouse. When you get him going early, that team is hard to beat. Fred VanVleet, 11 points, 8 assists. I mean, you got to get more from Fred. You got to get more. It's only the first game. And this is going to be an interesting season. This might be one of the seasons that go back and forth, teeter-totter for who take next game. I guarantee you the Raptors won't come out like that playing flat, because that's what they look. They look really flat. They look tired. The Boston Celtics look more energized, running down the court, getting where they got to go. Kyle Lowry, 17 points, 6 rebounds. He is Mr. Raptor. He the vocal leader of this team. They got a couple of vocal leaders of this team, Marc Gasol. But you got to get going early. Norman Powell with 10 points. Serge Ibaka with 15 points, 9 rebounds. And the Boston Celtics was a hungrier team. Nick Nurse, trust me, the coach of the year, Nick Nurse, he's going to go in. They're going to come out of the game plan. They're going to find a way to win a game 2. So we want to see what the adjustments that this Raptors team going to make. Like I said, the keys to the game for the Toronto Raptors, you got to get Marc Gasol involved early. Pascal got to find some other way to stop doing a spin move. You got to get OG going. So you can get those two guys going, you'll be fine. And maybe the bounce back going to be real. We're going to see the adjustments that these teams make in game 2. Boston, either you have 1-0, they're going to find other ways to score. Like Jason Tatum, I wouldn't be surprised to come out in this game and get 30. That's just what I see what's going on right now inside this bubble. And I got 2 teams I want to talk about, but I say this team right here, the Dallas Mavericks and the Clippers. Coming in, we all knew the Clippers was going to win this series in 6. Let's just be honest. This Dallas Mavericks team, or I'm going to say the Luka Doncic, Luka the Don, when you look at, if you want to win a game, look at these guys I'm about to name. Tim Hardaway Jr., 10 points, 4 for 15. Ugly. You got Maxi Kleber, 9 points, 6 rebounds, 3 for 10. Ugly. Trey Burke, 6 points, 2 for 10. Ugly. And these are guys in the starting rotation. You didn't get no help from, Luka. You didn't get no help. The only person you got help from was Dorian Finney-Smith. 16.6 rebounds. We played a lot. I thought, when I'm watching this game and I'm watching a young Mavericks team, looking at a player like a Luka Doncic, who's giving you 38 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists, shouldering the load, playing on the bad ankle, who's laying it all out there. Like I said, this guy, you could tell he's been professional ever since he was about 14, 15 years old, playing like a seasoned veteran on his first playoffs series. And I thought that was very terrific. That's a great sign of a making of a superstar. He has everything in a superstar. He's a 6'7" guard out there. He's not the fast, he's not the quickest, but he's basketball smart. He made Paul George in this series look like a second-year man or a rookie. The way Paul George is playing, and I get to him in a bit because I don't know what he was thinking. If you want to win games as an organization, as a Dallas Mavericks, Rick Carlisle has to tell his players, especially Tim Hardaway Jr. Tim Hardaway Jr. is 3-point shoot happy. He don't have to rely to shoot threes like that, because watching him at Michigan, that team up north, he does other things as well. He can go to the hole. He can post up. I mean, he's not doing none of that. And he's not doing none of that. We might, that might be the design you want him to do. But I feel like he's more stronger is when you attack the hole. We got to put the other team out there in foul trouble. I didn't see enough of that in that game 6. Period. I thought he was going to be more and more valuable to his team than this, to come out like that to give me 10 points. Trey Burke, I thought been playing sensational up to this point, who had a bad game. I thought those guys missed a lot of shots and stuff like that. Like I said, Luka Doncic, man, it's A1. He's A1 certified. And I believe that Marcus Morris, he says he's not a dirty basketball guy. We've seen a couple of clips where he gets into a lot of altercations with people. And I'm here questioning nobody's manhood, but to me, what I seen, I thought he legitimately stepped on the man's ankle not on accident, on purpose. He did it on purpose. And I thought with him doing it on purpose, it changed the complex of the game, because let's be honest, Luka the Don was basically killing that whole team, aka the Clippers, by himself. And what hurt the Dallas Mavericks, Kristaps Porzingis go down again with a right meniscus tear. Let's just be honest. Let's be honest. Injury prone. He's been injury prone. When healthy, very effective. Very effective. Luka Doncic needs some more dogs by his side. If they get the right number two, two more good legitimate players that can get you 15 and 16, that team is contending for an NBA title within the next 2-3 years. Mark my words. Mark my words. He has NBA MVP and NBA Finals MVP written all over his career. He's definitely gonna get you about 1 or 2 rings because he's that type of player. He's built like that. His body different. Looking at the Kawhi Leonard, the cyborg, Mr. Fun Guy, 33 points, 14 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 steals. Now, say if Kawhi win a championship this year, will we say he the GOAT? Because not only will LeBron James will win 3 NBA titles with 3 different organizations, Kawhi would be the same because he did it in San Antonio, he did it in Toronto, now he's doing it for the Clippers. Now he won the Finals MVP in Toronto and in San Antonio. So if he win another one this year, you could put him in that type of category because he's that guy he is that guy when he played with the Spurs. I knew he had more to offer. Not only had more to offer, you play alongside Tim Duncan and Ginobili and names going on and Tony Parker. You play alongside those Hall of Famers. All you did is he soaked everything up like a sponge from pop. He found different ways how he could be effective. All he do is bring his. Let's be honest, the culture that he brought to this organization, the Clippers and the Raptors, he brought a winning attitude, especially to the Raptors, who couldn't get over the hump the last 5 or 6 years because they can't run the team like the Cleveland Cavaliers and who are the other teams the case may be. But you look at a Kawhi Leonard, self-made guy, don't show no emotion out there. He lead by example, play defense, dive on the floor. That's what you want from your superstar player. Doc Rivers know what it takes to get the guys over the hump. When you look at that guys like I said, if the Clippers want to make that type of run and win big, you got to get guys like Zubac going early, which they did, give you 15-11. It's opened the game up for other players to be scorers. Paul George with 15 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. He didn't play his best game. Period. He said his train of thought and process, his brain is not there inside this bubble, stuff like that. It may be tough because you playing in this bubble from 60 to almost 80 days without seeing your family and stuff like that, which is pretty tough because you got to think about these guys after the game. They used to going home, take a shower, getting expensive cars, get a nice little dinner with their family, go back home and chill out and relax and go watch more NBA film. They don't have that luxury of that. The game is over. They're catching the little tour buses back to the hotels, taking a shower, and they're going in there. So it's a little bit different for these NBA guys who's not used to doing stuff like this at this particular stage in this time of the year. Reggie Jackson played well. But if the Clippers want to win a championship, Paul George cannot have bad games like how he did against this Dallas Mavericks series. If they want to win, he has to be that guy alongside Kawhi Leonard. If Kawhi gives you 30, Paul George got to give you 25. You're a superstar. Superstars always find ways to win, but to go on a scoring slump like that, it's unbelievable. Not Paul George, not PG-13. PG-13 supposed to give people buckets, but let's call it what it is. But in playoffs past, Paul George wasn't really playing that good. He actually shrinks in these type of moments. He come up short time after time, and he does. A lot of guys that hit game winners over Paul George, like I said, it's a make or miss lead. What's the chances of most guys hitting a game with a shot where Paul George? Chances is not that high, but in the playoffs, it's different. I need to see more from Paul George as well. So you got him going, it's a wrap. Doc, they got the coaching staff and everything. The team is good, but I think they're missing that other dog out there, Pat Bev. Once they get back Patrick Beverly, man, the defense is way more different. The defense is way more different. It can get ugly too. And one thing I like about Patrick Beverly, he's not a scorer, but he can score. He can hit the corner three. He can hit the top of the top J from 15 foot. He's one of those guys, and he's going to play very hard, aggressive defense, which would you want from a championship type contender team. So now, as we head to the Houston Rockets series in the Thunder, I remember before the series started, and I'm sitting down with my guy Marcus. I said, he said, who do you like in this series, Dante? I said, to be honest with you, I said, look, it's gonna come down to rebounding for the Houston Rockets. No big man. No big man. No big man. I said, this series is going 7. I said, wait. I said, this series might go 7 series. And I said, I like my chances with the Thunder, just because they have a big man there and they got a true point guard and Chris Paul. The reason I said that because James Harden and Russell Westbrook contain most of the offense as ball handlers. So you got those two guys who has the ball most of the time being more effective out there with the ball. It's gonna be kind of hard for the Rockets to win because you got James Harden who want to get his, and you got Russell Westbrook who want to get his. So it's a different dynamic. So the Thunder don't have that type of dynamic. It's Chris Paul being the floor general that he is, that I respect. Like I said, when the Rockets got rid of Chris Paul, you hear me and Marcus say it all the time. You hear me and Marcus say it all the time. They threw Chris Paul out there to die in OKC, and their playoff chances were 0.20, 20%. 20%. And they're the fifth seed. The fifth seed. So just imagine if the Rockets would have had Chris Paul and OKC would still have Russell Westbrook. This series right here, it would have been the opposite way around. Due to the fact that Russell Westbrook is injured, and he only played the last, 2 games? And this series could have been easily favored for the Rockets if they had Chris Paul. This series probably could have been over in 5. But Chris Paul, the thing I make my case for Chris Paul to be an MVP candidate, and he was one of my dark horses to be an MVP candidate, because I've been saying it the whole time, and y'all gonna respect it. I said Chris Paul is a true point guard for a field general, a dog, who players will go crazy for out there, will lay on the line for Chris Paul. Chris Paul is that guy, and the reason I'm saying that he's coachable. He understands the game. He understands everybody's position on the floor. He knows where his players or his guys like to be at on the floor to receive a ball. And players listen to a guy like that. I'm going to bring this one thing about Chris Paul. Every team that Chris Paul has played on in the NBA wasn't good teams. When he first came to New Orleans Hornets, that team was not a playoff team. He get that team into the playoffs. Go to the Clippers. That team wasn't a playoff team. He gets that team to the playoffs. He goes to the OKC Thunder. Listen to me, folks. He goes to the OKC Thunder. Like I said, their percentage of going to the playoffs is .20. He gets them to the playoffs. The whole thing I'm saying, Chris Paul is pretty much doing this while a superstar. Facts. We know he went to the playoffs when he played for a glue guy, 6-man type guy. These are glue guys. And shout out to Brandon Ingram, most improved player. So when I'm looking at those type of guys, when you go to that game 5, you look at how the Thunder lost 114-80. You got Aaron Gordon pouring in 20. Happens. Then you got SGA, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander with 4 points, 4 assists. Dino Gallinari with 1 point, 6 rebounds. Steven Adams with 12 points, 14 rebounds. You got Dort with 6. Chris Paul with 16 points, 6 rebounds. Schroeder with 19. And Darius Bazley with 10 and 12. Now, when you're looking at that Game 5 matchup with the Rockets, and you're looking at the Thunder, you're like, all right, we got the next game won. And the one thing about playing with teams like that is very dangerous. Like the Rockets, look at it, all right, we got them where we want them. I think we beat the Rabbit. I think we beat the Rabbit dead. And coming out into that game 6, Rockets got too comfortable. Like I said, no stats before. You got a Covington with 22 and 7. James Harden with 31 points, 11 for 15. Westbrook with 7 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, but he was 3 for 13. You know Russell Westbrook going to give you a horrible shot chart. Then you got Uncle Jeff Green with 9 points, 10 rebounds. PJ Tucker with 5 points, 6 rebounds. When you're looking at a game like that, and the ejection of those two, which hurt because PJ Tucker felt and believed that Dennis Schroeder hit him below in the mid area. You look at the instant replay, pretty much did. But the thing is, he shouldn't have retaliated. He headbutted him. He got to let it be known, man. I ain't no little boy. So he had to come check Dennis Schroeder, and Schroeder had to play it off like he didn't do it. But you know, Chris Paul and him are known every now and then. You are what you are, and you who your leaders say you are. Now, Chris Paul, he do it. Dennis Schroeder threw it into his game, but he ran with a closed fist and swiped up. Now, if he just kept running through it, made a mistake, and came back after they do what they do, man, my bad, he mean to, it would have been different. But he didn't do that. So the Rockets got the much needed win in that game 5. But like I said, listen to those stats I said in game 5 for OKC. SGA with 4, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander with 4 points, Dino Gallinari with 1, Dort with 6. Now you go into that game 6 as the Rockets played tremendous. They were not going to let up. They wasn't going to let up. Point blank period. They wasn't going to let up. Period. SGA, like I said, last game he had 4 points in that game 5. He gave you 10 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists. Gallinari had 1 point, scored 25 points with 5 rebounds. Steven Adams, 6 points with 14 rebounds. He gave you 14 rebounds again. Only thing he didn't score was the points because last game he had 12. He had 6. He had Dort with 13 points and 3 rebounds. So there's a difference when guys are scoring more and give you a little bit different. Chris Paul with 28, who had 16 points last game. And he gave you 7 rebounds, 3 steals, and 3 assists. Dennis Schroeder with 12 points, 8 rebounds. Darius Bazley with 8 points, 9 rebounds. The difference in this game 6, the game get real tight. The game get tight. When the game get tight like that, it brings out the best of the other players. Chris Paul, as I said again, it's a dog. Probably the best point guard in the NBA, if not the number one point guard in the league. Period. That's not even up for debate. Because this is what he does. And people always trying to look at what players do from the stat part. No, I look at how a player like Chris Paul lead his team into the playoffs. How do you make your players better? And that's Chris Paul's definition of it. He makes his players that much better when he's out there on the floor. They have the want and the will to win is different. When you go to the Houston Rockets, like I said, Eric Gordon give you 20 points last game. The next game, he come back with 9 in the game 6. You're not going to win. 4 rebounds and 6, not going to win. PJ Tucker, he's not going to give you high scoring points anyway. He's a forcer, tough guy. 9 points, 11 rebounds. Covington had 22 points, 18 and 5. James Harden, 32 points. He had 31 last game with 8 to go along with 8 rebounds, 7 assists. Westbrook with 17 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. When I'm looking at naming James Harden and Westbrook, when Westbrook scored 7 points last game and scored 17, people look at that, you would think they win. Daniel House Jr., 12 points. It will hurt the most Jeff Green only having 3 points. The one thing I'm going to say, Chris Paul is small, finds his way to the cup, get the team involved. He can still he commands a double team. how he plays. Eric Gordon, since the thing I'm saying now, since you got Westbrook back, the touches are different. So it's like when he had Chris Paul last year, or I'd say last year, or the year before rather, in the playoffs, and you look at a player like Chris Paul playing for the Rockets, Eric Gordon got a lot of touches. Chris Paul made the game easier because he's, like I said before, he set you up in the right places to score. And by them not having that true type point guard setting, as in Chris Paul, it's a little bit different to get your guys to score. So when you're looking at Russell Westbrook, he's going to get his. Let's say he's in the passing because this guy has led the league in triple doubles for the last couple of seasons. He has done it. It's on his resume. But to come out there trying to be a flat out scorer, because James Harden will get 30. If James Harden will get 30, I gotta get 30. I think Russell Westbrook is more better when he's attacking the cup and making an extra pass. Because when he does that, it makes the defenders sag off him and go to the shooter, which now he can lead to get him more shots. That's just what I see. I've been watching him for years and how he play at that type of speed, that dynamic. You know what I'm saying? Not knocking on Russell Westbrook. He's a dynamic player. I just think he's sometimes Russell Westbrook got a different gear for most guys in the league. He go hard. He plays hard. And my dad always say he's playing. My dad favorite sayings. And why is he going so fast? He's playing like the gym room is on fire, out of control and hectic. Now, if you bring it down a couple of notches, see something a little bit more different. Maybe you can see that person who you thought had open to the other guy is really open. If he just slow it down just a tad bit more, man, a tad bit more, the Rockets could have had this series over with. Very. But like I said, you got two high volume shooters. It's going to be tough because they give the other team so many chances to live and die on the offensive end as well because they could do a lot much more. When I'm looking at the OKC Thunder, led by that general, he gave them another fighting chance in hell to win. 2 as well, and to force a game 7. Chris Paul played lights out, did what he had to do. But the game I've been waiting to get to was the Denver Nuggets and the Utah Jazz to wrap this up. Jamal Murray, Donovan Mitchell. What? I'm going to say this. If I had one word to describe these guys' game, watching this series, remarkable. Because Jamal Murray last year in the playoffs didn't have these type of games. Donovan Mitchell didn't have these type of games. When you play in the playoffs and you get back there your second year around, it slows down. You see things different. And I'm looking at the Utah Jazz. You got the defensive player of the year, or former defensive player of the year, Rudy Gobert. And the Stifle Tower, what they call them. And people just want to get a Utah Jazz series. I had Denver win this series. I said Denver in 6, but they're going to might do it in 7. When the Utah Jazz want to win games, you got 2 guys in your starting lineup going 1 for 4. That's Royce O'Neal with 5 points and Joe Ingles with 5 points. They shooting 25%. I need more from especially Joe Ingles, who's one of their vocal leaders. You need more from him. He need to do a little bit more to give me 5 points. Royce O'Neal in this playoff round, he's been horrible. Call like how I see it. Maybe they do something different. Maybe they throw Jordan Clarkson in the starting lineup to give him a different taste. I bring Royce off the bench. This is game 7 that's coming up for these teams. You gotta lay it all out there. Royce O'Neal haven't gave you nothing in this series. No game 1, no game 2, no game 3, no game 4, no game 5, or game 6. You have to find something else that can get you this win in the game 7. And maybe it's time to sit down with Royce O'Neal and bring in Jordan Clarkson. Jordan Clarkson gave you 11 points that past game. Game before they gave you 25 and 26 points. he give you something different. He's a scorer. So you need to put another scorer out there. Royce O'Neal is not playing defense. He's not stopping anything. He's just out there. Mike Conley with 21 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. Rudy Gobert, 11 points, 11 assists. For him to be that tall, a man didn't want to do this, man. He's playing like the Frenchman, Roy Hibbert. During the regular season, postseason, nowhere to be found. He played just like Roy Hibbert. I didn't want to give him that stamp, but to me, that fact, what I just said, or that statement, probably should be a fact because the reason I'm saying that, play solid during the whole regular season. The playoffs come, shrink. Where is he at? Where is he at? He's getting outplayed by Jokic. And Jokic is not your typical center. Jokic is what I call a 2.0. No, I'm going to call him a 5.0. Zydrunas Ilgauskas, the former center of the Cleveland Cavaliers. The game is almost similar. Just imagine before Zeke got the leg injuries, how he was looking before all that. A big guy could put the ball on the floor, who could step out and hit the three. The J could post up, pass. That's what his game reminds me of. It's just more polished because he didn't go through the injuries like Big Z went through. But Denver won that game, 119-107. They got Gary Harris back, which I thought is a plus because that can be huge for them going into a game 7. It's gonna be hard for Gary Harris coming back into the bubble and trying to find offensive ways to get inserted into the game. But the key thing, what I did see with the Denver Nuggets, you got Michael Porter Jr., sorry, with 2 points to go along with 12 rebounds. That was huge. And, he scored 2 points, but the 12 rebounds I love because offensive, defensively, taking points off the board and on the board for his team, which is always great, a great access. Don't get that team that second look, but can get your team the second look on the offensive end. Monte Morris is 10 points. I thought he could score a little bit more. Like I said, watching him play now, like I said, I got eBay League Pass. He's very selective of where he shoot from. Just like Jamal Murray, they are very selective. They not risk shot takers. So when you see stuff like that, it makes you like, all right, man, just take some more, man. Just take another 2-3 more jumpers. Don't worry about it. But guys like that, you love. Paul Millsap. Before I get started, Paul Millsap hasn't been the same. Like, Paul Millsap used to be that guy in Atlanta. He 18, 20 points. I know the Rose is different playing the Denver Nuggets because you got other guys that can score the ball. But I'm not used to seeing Paul Millsap 5 points, 4 points, 6 points. I'm used to seeing Paul Millsap in the stat sheet like with 17 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. His stat sheet is a little bit different. And I know he's probably just a vocal leader out there and bring that playoff experience, which is always good to have a guy like that in the situation they're going into right now. But I need to get Paul Millsap the ball early because when you get him going early, man, that team is very hard to stop. And you're looking at the Joker with 22 points, 9 rebounds, 3 steals, off the chart. Like I said, very smart. Gotta handle. He's a vocal. He's five shots. Donovan Mitchell with 44 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 14 for 25. He want to win. The whole thing about the Utah Jazz with Donovan Mitchell, he get his. And one thing I like about him, he's very underrated passer too. He's very unselfish. Talking to a couple of my friends yesterday, I said his game reminds me of D Wade. Just a Dwayne Wade type of game. He wants to win. And the one thing about the way he plays is championship-esque. He get guys involved. But the game 6 they had where they lost, he passed the ball. Guys got knocked down shots. They haven't been knocking down key shots to get them wins. So you don't when your guys are knocking down the shots, your wheel is different. You gotta find other ways to get these guys going, and they wasn't. So you're looking at the 44-point performance from Donovan Mitchell. The whole thing is, can he do it again? Can the results be different? Yes, he can do it again. Yes, he can. He has that type of build about him. He has that superstar star power about him. Can he get his team ready for that game 7? Can he overcome the stuff that he knocked down with the recumbent bites and stuff like that, the exercising bites? This right here determines you and make you great. Can you get your team a game 7 win? We know the history of the Denver Nuggets. We know they can win game 7s. That's a special team. No home court advantage. So that's what's a little bit tricky. Just imagine going back home for a game 7. That's tough. Let's get to this guy, Jamal Murray. The flamethrower, arrow thrower, whatever you want to call him. The kid is special. The kid is special. 50 points twice in the series. If you look at anything I've been saying on my social media, kind of said, look, if Denver want to win, Jamal Murray need to have a hot and quick start again. Can he do it again? That's the whole thing. Can he do it again? 50 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 17 for 24, 9 for 12 from the three-point line, 7 for 8 from the free throw line. Like I said, the guy is very selective about how he get his points. Point blank, period. He's hot. He take that $2 for $1 shot that everybody say they at the playground. He takes that shot. And the one thing I'm gonna say about the Utah Jazz, Quinn Snyder, you got a guy going 50 twice. Where he went 50, 42, 50. When you're looking at that, y'all bringing a double team too late. Why are you guys waiting to the fourth quarter with almost 6 minutes to go to double team a guy who already got about 39 to 42 points? You're not going to win like that. Trying to double team him. By the time you double team, now other guys are going to score. A Jokic, a Jeremy Grant. These guys are going to score. So you waiting too late. Why come up with a game plan in the first quarter and see how we slow this guy down? Because right now, he's playing like a machine. Period. You're not going to stop him. He's playing just like that. Just like that. But now, not only you get Gary Harris back, you got to drop a game plan for him. Now Michael Porter Jr. and Jokic. Because when Mike Malone got up there in Denver is a very unique squad, a Bobo. This team is special, Monte Morris. Remember, they still missing a guy too, Willie Barton. So you ain't got Willie out there. So just imagine if he come back. This is a whole new ball game. Gary Harris come into the bubble with fresh legs. So when you're looking at that type of game plan situation, the Utah Jazz got their work cut out. Because the Denver Nuggets team, like I told you guys, very underrated and very special. That team has what it takes to get out this first round. If you don't believe me, just watch. That's what Trinidad James would say. And until next time, folks, it's After Hours Live from the Man Cave. One half After Hours Live from the Man Cave. Your host, Tay Wiggs. I'm out of here. Peace.